Now, over in MPO, we had a big storyline. Mr. Ezra Aderhold takes it down, his first Pro Tour win as well.
Did you see the stat? First, so this is the first
since 2011.
time. 2011.
Yeah, it was going to be my last talking point.
Oh,
wow.
But, well, stole the thunder there. First time since 2011 for a national tour, Pro
I
Tour,
saw it
or
too,
major.
man.
Well, no, I was going to talk about it at the end because I thought it was a good little compliment. Adam Hamez and Evan Smith came in second. Weird weekend this weekend, to be honest with you, because it felt like, honestly, on Friday, we were at the Discmania booth vending the Sky Bros. Very fun P2X. Leftovers will be hitting online. Check out soon. But probably next week. But someone walked up to us and was talking about that they had went on and were looking at the lines, and they had Gannon at under 2.5, and they had AB at under, I believe it was 5.5 or 6.
It was under 5.5, and I was like, oh,
something
wow,
like that.
Those are both locks.
And it felt like, I think that was kind of the general consensus, was like, those are pretty much guaranteed. Like, AB and Gannon, this course makes perfect sense for them.
AB's the defending champ, too.
Yeah, there's it makes perfect sense. There's not really much woods to be had. Distance gives you an advantage because it allows you to be throwing hyzers. A big forehand gives you an advantage because there's a lot of holes where you got to be shaping it left to right. There's going to be wind out here, so on and so forth. You could paint a million reasons why this should be Gannon and AB's weekend. Instead, round one, Gannon Burr fires off, I believe, a 1 under par. Maybe he got the 2.
It was like a poop under.
Let's scroll down and try to find him. I'm out to command F him. 4 under. He got to 4. Wow, good for Gannon. He got to 4. And then Barella got to 2 over. So you're at 4
I don't
under.
think he said got to.
He fell to.
Yeah.
Well, he was at 1 under and then triple bogey.
Sounds like they're doing insider trading.
Triple bogeyed 18. So
What's
they
it called
both
whenever you bet on yourself or bet against yourself?
illegal.
It was called jail.
So they
Not
actually
what
in
it's
disc
called,
golf,
boys.
so
fraud.
they both are not fully out of it. AB's pretty much out of it because Calvin Heimberg had the lead after 1 at 13
AB
under.
was certainly
AB's 15 away from that. Gannon 9 strokes back. It wasn't over because
Well, where was Hamez after round 1? I think he was 1 under.
Hamez, command F, Hamez, he was 1 under.
So anybody who wasn't at least 1 under was out of it because Hamez played the most ridiculous final 2 rounds of anybody, and he still couldn't catch all the way up.
Yeah. So Gannon was still in it, but he needed a really solid round 2, which I think he got a little bit better round 2, but still wasn't good. He shot a 7 under round 2, so he moved up into the top 20. But
the pace was just
again,
hotter than that.
he was just 9 strokes out of it going into the final round. So impossible? No. But unlikely.
Yeah.
Very unlikely. I mean, Hamez was only 2 strokes ahead of him.
Only way it was possible was if he teed off early and then the weather turned into a absolute disaster for lead car, basically.
So, anyways, what you had shaping up was you had Calvin Heimberg, Ezra Aderhold, Ezra Robinson, and Evan Smith. They were all on lead card, but you had the entire top 10 within 5 strokes. So 5 strokes was like, that's a bit much for you to jump. Turns out you could jump quite a bit, Adam Hamez. But for most people, 5 strokes was a bit to jump up there. So 3 strokes, you had Corey Ellis top of chase, and then you had the lead card. So it was looking to be a very exciting final day.
I mean, at one point, I would say, a decent bit into the round, you had both Ezras, Calvin, Corey Ellis, Sully, Hamez, and Evan Smith. There was at least 7 of them that were in contention at one point during the round. And actually, Isaac may have still been at that point, too. There may have been like 8 players that, a little bit into the round were in contention. It's very exciting.
Well, yeah, because Ezra came out the gates picking up the first 5 holes. So he just kind of starts off hot, starts scorching. But the part Trevor's talking about is the next 4 holes.
Yeah.
Ezra goes 1 over through.
Right.
So he slows up. Meanwhile, you have Hamez, Tipton, and Gossage were the 3 I was tracking that were scorching the course. Not to mention, you still had basically the entire lead car within 3 at that point. Eventually, Ezra Robinson, sorry, Ezra, rough day.
He punched that ground so
many
hard,
times,
dude.
His hands has to be broken.
I was nervous for him.
I was very nervous for him. He did it 3 holes in a row.
Yeah, and
which to be fair, I was feeling it.
First one was aggressive.
Yeah,
I was scared.
It was rough. It was rough because he was in the mix and I know where he wasn't. But you had a lot of people kind of within reach there. Ezra picks it back up. He scorched a very important stretch of holes 10 through 15. I think he only missed 1 of those, which gave him a little bit of cushion, but there was still a chance for drama. 16 is a relatively routine par 3, at least it should be. Ezra Aderhold finds a way to bogey it. So Now we come into 17
He
and
got a
18.
bad kick and a good bogey save, honestly.
Yeah, honestly,
like
it's great. It was like a tough scramble.
I would say that upshot wasn't like insanely hard, but there's enough trees where you're just thinking to yourself, this would be a really
especially
easy
in
one
his
to mess
situation,
up.
because if you double that, I think you would have been tied with James at that point, or someone.
I think my monthly match brain. Yeah, if he doubles, he's tied with James, who's in the clubhouse. My monthly match brain switched on, and I'm thinking like, this is a spot where
James wasn't quite in the clubhouse yet.
Or was he on 18?
He just finished 17. He was on 18.
On 18, okay.
As Ezra was bogeying 16.
Yeah.
Because when Ezra was on 17 is when James was finishing up 18. As Ezra was like teeing off on 17. So James
were they tied at 27 when Ezra made that bogey then?
I don't believe so, because James had to birdie 18 to get to 27.
Oh, James finished at 27. That's right. Okay.
So James birdies 18, gets to 27.
14
Ezra
under round.
is currently at 28 under on 17. As we just mentioned, 17 is the third hardest hole, 18 is the hardest hole, so far from over. Sullivan Tipton had a chance to get to 27 under as well, but parred 18. So anyways, and not to mention Evan Smith at this point is within 2 of Ezra Aderhold as well, I believe, on 17. So a lot of stuff can happen. 17, very important tee shot. Ezra, you're thinking is probably going to be a little shaken by a uncalled for bogey that just happened on 16. So eventually it's his turn to tee. He steps up, throws the farthest drive I've seen anyone throw on 17. I didn't know you could get this far. He almost went OB deep.
Yeah.
He was within like 5 to 10 feet of the OB line.
He was so in flow state. Like
it was crazy. He threw like a hyzer flip nuke, it looked like, out this gap. And like this is the shot where during the Creator Challenge, I don't know how much they covered it, this part. I don't know how much there was actually showing shots, but Robbie C, shout out, threw one of the greatest drives I've ever seen Robbie C throw. And like Robbie doesn't have like crazy distance, but he has solid distance. And he threw a full flex through this gap, perfect. And he was like 30 feet out the gap. And Ezra Aderhold was a solid 100 feet past that.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe more.
Oh,
I don't know.
I mean,
it was insane. It was a frozen rope nuke hyzer flip. Like, I don't know how the guy got as far up as he did. It was insane, but it made his approach shot very stress free. So now he's birdied 17.
Kind of stressed me out a little bit because he went backhand putter. Yeah. And he almost threw it out of bounds deep. He was about.
Well, I mean, he's probably never practiced in that position.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I kind of was like, he
could probably have jump putted.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't like just try to chop beforehand, but he went with the putter, and luckily he stopped about 2 feet short of the OB. But it was a little scary.
So he taps out the birdie on 17. 18, it's still far from over because it's a tricky shot, but he executes it to perfection. Gives himself, honestly, a birdie look that he doesn't need because at this point he's at 29 under and no one can catch him. So Evan Smith even birdied hole 18 to get to 27 under, but again, you couldn't catch him. So Ezra lays up. And as he's laying up, he's crying with his brother because, like, this is the culmination of all these years of hard work. And his brother's on the bag, which was super cool. Judah was there. And then he taps out and just let out the most emotion I've ever seen from a Pro Tour winner.
Cat Merch.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and give the title to Cat Merch.
But I think if Cat Merch was Ezra Aderhold, this might have been what it looked like.
Maybe.
Because, I mean, first off, muscles were popping. I mean, the dude was flexing, screaming, let's go, and I thought his shirt was about to rip off.
I kind of wish it would have, to be honest.
It was electric. Brad Hammock, Yuli's caddy, runs over, and he basically threw him.
The picture of him, like, hoisting up Brad is pretty
he picked him up with so much pace that I didn't know how he held on to him. I thought Brad Hammock was just about to be in the trees.
Throw him.
Yeah, that would be funny. You just cheerleader through him. But, I mean, great for Ezra. He well-deserved the turnaround this man's had because he was like a deadly putter this tournament.
Well, that's what's
and really like this year he's been really improved.
He's become a good putter.
Yeah.
He's become, I think he's like statistically one of the best C2 putters on tour, and that was the weakness. The weakness of his game was hitting lines and making putts, and he's become an incredible putter and very accurate. Like, this is his 6th year on tour, and he's an example of like, don't always just kind of like, I think I had at least kind of been like, yeah, Ezra burst on the scene and he's become a solid player, but I don't know that I expected him to get to the level that I feel like with his play this weekend. I'm like, yeah, and he's been good this season. So I've been kind of like, starting to feel this way, but I think Ezra Aderhold like is legitimately can be a star. Like, he can win a lot of events with his game because he didn't have a weakness when he plays.
No, he's got great forehand, great backhand. I'm gonna try to actually see Circle 1X putting this year.
I don't know about his Circle 1. I just know his Circle 2 is.
Well, I know Circle 2, but I'm saying I think he's still very solid Circle 1 this season, if I'm not mistaken. 85% C1, 33% C2 on the season.
I would say the 33% C2 is like
33% on the season's wild.
I think that's pretty elite.
Let's see. 37 leads the field.
Yeah.
So he's a top like 10 Circle 2. But overall, I mean, this weekend he was it was actually a bad Circle 2 putting weekend for him at only 27%. Pick it up, Ezra.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of Circle 2 putting
no.
to be had, though, because there was a lot of putts that you did not want to run.
Yeah. Correct.
A lot of elevated baskets, a lot of OB.
A lot of
water.
OB right behind, but
Yeah.
he was 94% C1X. And I mean, he was reining them in.
difference.
It didn't really look like. I mean, he led the field gain tee to green. He didn't lead the field gain putting. He actually was losing strokes to like Sully and the guys chasing him. He was losing putting, but he threw the disc so well. He's got such a good forehand, such a good backhand, and it was awesome to see. Yeah, this happened to Ezra. Him go out and take this win, and now that the top's off, I wish his top's off, right? Now that the lid's off of his winning potential, it does make you question, like, is this an AB type situation where once he breaks through, is he now going to be playing freer where he, can go on and grab a few more wins? I don't know.
It was a course where if you were throwing it well, you were going to score. I think that the game plan at this course was pretty straightforward. I think that's why even once, other than Brody's hiccups out there,
big hiccups.
Other than his hiccups in the first round, like he had a good forehand and backhand hyzer going, and that will get you around that course.
Yeah.
So I think there was a lot of opportunity in this course, but like I said, Ezra's been playing well this season.
Yeah, we were talking to Brody after.
Not surprised to see him get a win.
After his second round, I think it was, we were talking to Brody. And the way Brody described it, I think, was a really good description of like this course. You just had to mess up at the right times, because there were some holes where if you make a mistake, it's okay. You're just taking a bogey, maybe even still able to save your
maybe
par.
even a par.
But then there was other holes where if you mess up, it piled on.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, the story for a lot of players' weekends was like, if you messed up at the wrong, like if you messed up your approach shot on 17, it cost you way more than if you messed up your approach shot most other places. Same thing with 18. And if you didn't look, Brody went round 1, shot himself way out of it, and then rounds 2 and 3 proceeded to shoot rounds that would have probably, if he would have done the same round 1, he would have been like top 30, I think.
If he would have done the same thing.
Yeah,
round
if he would have
one?
just been the same across all 3.
I think he go like 5 under, 7 under or something.
5-7, yeah. So he would have averaged like 6 under. He would have been at 18.
Yeah, he would have been. I mean, if he just doesn't take like one of those quads,
because the first round he had, he went
2 quads.
He went double bogey, quad bogey, par, quad bogey, I believe was the stretch he went on. He went 10 over, and he shot 8 over that first round. Yeah, because if he would have got to 18, he would have been in 20th.
Yeah,
20th place. So
watch out for the big dog.
Honestly, good overall tournament for Brody if you take out the 2 quad bogeys.
Yeah.
But it was a good point of
Still was top 60.
Of that course. It was pretty straightforward in what it asked you to do. It was more so you just had to mess up in the right spots.
Distance was also very helpful.
Distance was helpful.
So I will say that obviously Ezra Aderhold, one of his strengths is his distance, and that was helpful at that course. There's no secret.
Yeah. And we can't. Yes, there was like Ricky was missing. You had the Nick Los Angeles missing, but the majority, like the big dogs in the field, were there.
Yeah,
you had Gannon, you had AB, you had the Robinson brothers.
Gannon and AB both pooped the bed,
but they were there.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. They were in the field. He beat him fair and square. Ezra could have pooped the bed the same way.
Stomped all over Calvin again.
Yeah, Calvin Heimberg's got to figure something out.
I know, dude. It's getting sad.
Because he, at this point, he had the lead in the round 1. He slowed up a little bit in round 2, got back in. He was only 2 strokes back going into the final round of an unproven winner. Like, that's a position where
chase him down.
Calvin's got to be putting pressure on him, chasing him. It doesn't help that Ezra opened the door 5 for 5, but still, like, that's a position where Calvin's got to be able to win that, and didn't. He kind of fell out. He wasn't even really in the mix at the end. So Calvin Heimberg, we got to keep our eyes on him.
Hot seat.